first one is the India-US trade agreement that recently was announced. మొట్టమొదటిగా. That is the first question. First subject I'll cover. Then I'll say something about the F1 visas, student visas. What are the challenges? And the third, I speak about the H1B visa. These are in you how to get toward the final goal, which is to get the green card in the quickest possible way. So I'm here to speak about these 5 subjects with an eye on what the changes are, leading up ultimately to what is discussed about immigration. A lot of people are a little disappointed without realizing that is the chapter 2. It's a part of a 2-chapter story. They were disappointed because the European Union trade agreement essentially had an entire section on immigration. So this is coming. So this should be treated more as a springboard for many good things to happen between India and US. Our trade is expected to go by trillions between these two countries. What is most important is India has strategically been once again chosen as a countervailing influence to build supply chains. It's very important to register this. What all this means is ultimately we are going to flourish economically. And when we do that, you can count on it that many Indians will bring a lot of wealth. They will create wealth. The best thing for Indians to do is not to make a short-term decision based on some exceptions, I would call, that happened in the recent past. Albeit there may be exceptions, but the press always projects it as a big story. So in my opinion, as a person who has been in the US practicing the profession with a family, I can tell you, America continues to be a place of dreams. America continues to promote startups, promote people who are entrepreneurial, and will continue to be a center for education. With that, with those comments about the Indo-US trade, let me move to the F1. Because US is a primary center for educational institutions. Some of the finest education. Make sure you go for an interview. Even before that, how do you select a school? And eventually come to the US, and how can you flourish in the US once you come on an F1? Here is where a lot of challenges recently have come up. If you gain admission to good schools, then your chances of getting a visa are very good. Simple. If you get admission in marginal schools, your prospects of getting the visa are much lower. Number one. Number two, when it comes to source of funds, more or less show it to be centered in India. Number three, go prepared. Once you get admission in a school, go prepared with what is required, both documentally and as well as your narrative, what you tell them. Here there is a particular law. If you look at F1 regulations, the law is called the Section 214B of the Immigration Nationality Act, which simply says that anybody coming to the US on any non-migrant visa, which means not for a green card, they are coming temporarily in the US, must prove that they have no intention of settling down in the US. They have to prove that. How do you prove it? You take all your ties, your family ties, your professional ties and your future plans in preparing for the interview, so that you're not surprised when you go there. For example, I was interviewing someone and I asked him a question. Why do you want to go to the US? And his response was, I want to make a lot of money. That is the wrong answer. You should be very careful to say that you are going for best quality education. Just to, we all have ambition. There is nothing wrong in wanting to be an entrepreneur. As a matter of fact, if you look at the unicorns where they have raised an investment of $1 billion or more, almost half of them, or more than half of them, are Indian companies, or companies owned by Indians or Indian individuals. So there is nothing wrong with it, but how do you go for an interview and not the exercise of telling them, this is my ultimate goal, connecting it to US. US is ultimately the center about sensitive issues and try to lead a movement. This morning I was reading Deccan Chronicle, a newspaper originating from Telangana. And the first page article was about exactly this, which is, it is not only you should not do that, but some people try to monetize it. When you come on a student visa, you suddenly start a YouTube and you get sponsors, you get paid for it. That is employment. And if they find, it's very easy to detect them. So be careful. These are the things that I want to mention about F1s. About H1B visas, only two things. One, here's the new policy that they've come up with is that any employer hiring a new employee and wanting to sponsor an H1B must pay a fee of $100,000 per candidate. That is a lot of money. But then he gave an exception. And the exception is that it is applicable to only those who are applying for a visa abroad. It is not applicable to those who are in the US, on a student visa, on any other non-immigrant visa, or the dependent. It doesn't apply to them. Big exception, major. Because 50% or even 60% of people who come there who are applying for H1B are on student visa. So that is a big exception. We'll see how this year works out because it goes through a lottery. And they just announced the lottery period, which will start in March, early March, and will go through the third week of March. The second major change is that if you participate in a lottery, it was easy to acknowledge that you have one chance like everybody else. Everyone has an equal chance. Now they have come up with a weighted average. You have to have a master's degree and you have to have very high weight.
ఒక వకీల్ రిప్రజెంటేటివ్గా యుఎస్ నుంచి వచ్చి ఇక్కడ సెమినార్ చేయబడుతున్నది ప్రైమరీలీ ఇది EB-5 గురించి. ఎటువంటి అవకాశాలు వస్తాయి, ఏ విధంగా గ్రీన్ కార్డ్ తొందరగా తెచ్చుకోవచ్చు అనే సబ్జెక్ట్ని ఈరోజు కవర్ చేసినాం. ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ వీసా తీసుకున్నా కానీ, ఏ విధమైన వీసా తీసుకున్నా కానీ 15-20 ఏళ్ళు వెయిట్ చేయాల్సిన పాసిబిలిటీని తీసేసి తొందరగా గ్రీన్ కార్డ్ తెచ్చుకోవాలంటే EB-5లో $800,000 ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేయాలి. అంటే ఒక 7 crores సంథింగ్ టు దట్ లెవెల్. అది ఇవ్వడం వల్ల మీకు 4 నుండి 6 ఏళ్ళ వరకు మీ క్యాపిటల్ మీరు ఏది ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నారో వాపస్ చేస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు ప్రస్తుతంగా మీకు గ్రీన్ కార్డు ఒక 2.5 yearsలో వచ్చేస్తుంది అనమాట ఆ కేటగిరీలో EB-5లో. నేను CMB అని ఒక రీజనల్ సెంటర్కు ప్రతినిధి కాదు, నేను వాళ్ళని ఏ విధంగా ఎండోర్స్ చేయను. వాళ్ళు ప్రైవేట్గా ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్ చేస్తున్నారు, కానీ ఒక నమ్మకమైన సెంటర్ అది CMB అనేది. మీరు వాళ్ళ గురించి చదువుకోండి, మీరే మీకు బాగా అనిపిస్తే వాళ్ళతో చేయండి, లేకపోతే ఇంకా అనేక విధాలుగా రీజనల్ సెంటర్ ఉంటాయన్నమాట. అది మీరు మీ రీడర్స్కి అందరికీ తెలియపరచండి. EB-5 అన్నది ఒక గోల్డెన్ ఆపర్చునిటీ, స్వర్ణ అవకాశం. తొందరగా సెప్టెంబర్ 30th, 2026 లోపల చేసేయండి. అది చేయడం వల్ల మీకు గ్యారంటీగా గ్రీన్ కార్డ్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. మీ పైసలు మీరు ఏదైతే ఇచ్చిండ్రో అది ఇంక్రీజ్ కాదు. కాంగ్రెస్ మీకు అది నమ్మకం ఇచ్చేసింది. ది ఇమిగ్రేషన్ రిఫార్మ్ అండ్ ఇంటెగ్రిటీ యాక్ట్ ఆఫ్ 2021 ప్రకారము మీరు సెప్టెంబర్ 30th వరకు ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేసేస్తే మీకు సురక్ష ఉంటుంది. చెప్పండి ఇంకేమన్నా.
Afternoon. Yep, the important part is that we are in business as a regional center to help families from around the world come to the United States through the EB-5 program. We were founded in 1997, authorized in 1997, to offer EB-5 opportunities to families around the world. And from that point in 1997, from our beginning, we represent nearly 7,000 families who have chosen CMB throughout the years to guide them and to pursue their EB-5 dreams of permanent residence in the United States. So we've been able to take families from the very beginning of the process with the filing of their initial petition to qualify for the EB-5 program, all the way through to the permanent green card application where that's been approved for their green card pursuit, as well as returning capital to families throughout the world. We represent the dreams and the hopes and the goals of permanent residence in the United States for families from 103 different countries around the world. And the way I say it, we have more people agreeing that on CMB as the in the United Nations, because you can't get 103 countries to agree on anything, and we've got families from 103 different countries agreeing that CMB is the way forward for their EB-5 pursuits.
Thank you.
Thank you.